morning, my friends. Listen, you'll hear what a time to be alive, and what an honor and a phase of initiation to be alive when this earth holds the most humans it's ever held, and is also experiencing a pandemic. This video is just a centering. That's it. It's just a centering. I woke up this morning and I felt so strongly. I feel so strongly. I only woke up about 35 minutes ago. The urge to pull a card. And so I shuffled the deck, and as I did, I spoke the words or the phrases that were streaming into my mind from the time I woke up. And those phrases went a little bit something like transformation through the initiation that focuses around moving from the individual to the collective. And as we know right now, we're being asked to stay home, as we should be. We're being asked to separate. We're being asked to not go to work, not attend social functions, stop social functions. And for a lot of us who live in the comfort of these social activities, for a lot of us who make our income off of being in an office or being out on a job site, it's really trying. And there's this urge to panic and this urge to resist. However, we are at a point, at a bridge, where we are being initiated into taking our focus from an individual standpoint to a collective standpoint. I know that you can all feel this, because we can all feel each other, whether it's the panic and the anxiety or the excitement and opportunity that's arising from the situation, from the slowing down and the staying home, the meditating, the connecting with those that we love. There's both, right? And it's just one of those moments where we're reminded that we really never have control over the circumstances. We only can do the best that we can do when the circumstances present themselves, right? So I wanted to pull a card, and I did. And the card I pulled is Isa, which is ice, which is ironic because I'm sitting in a bubble of ice right now, essentially in a cloud. But I want to read it to you because sometimes there are truths that cannot be spoken or navigated with the language that we use, the very analytical, specific language. However, I think that between the wild and its ability to be so precisely poetic, there are things that we can learn here, right? So this card, Isa, is the ice, and I want to read it to you. It is number 11. This is the Cosmic Whisperer Runes deck. This is not a commercial for this. This is just the tool that I had at my lap when I had this. So, meaning, ice. Symbolism, stillness, static, ego, self-identity, contraction, self-preservation, harsh reality, cold, lack of change, stagnation, lack of emotion, rest before action, self-awareness. Ice can be beautiful, but also dangerous. Ice freezes everything into a static self-preservation, a still state. But that's not the end. It's just a moment of stillness and self-awareness, but nothing stops there. Ice seals the land to rest and covers all that is fertile and life-giving. Isa is the rune of stillness, self-control, and stasis. I read that after pulling the rune, and that's what this feels like. In a world where we are always moving, stillness is the self-initiation into the collective, into the moment of saying, okay, look, I can just think about myself out of fear and being in survival mode, or I can choose to do what is the best for everyone, which might not feel like the best for me at this moment, but because one, I am connected to everyone, and two, we're all on this earth together, probably it is what's the best for me too, right? This rune is the simplest of all. Where Kenzaz is fire, Isa represents stillness, focus, and purity of ice. In Norse mythology, the creation of the universe was out of the mating of these two elements, fire and ice. Interestingly enough, we could say that the virus might be fire, right? As these things tend to create heat in the body, fever, a lot of movement, and fire also burns things down, right? So let me read that again. In Norse mythology, the creation of the universe was born out of these two mating elements. At the same time, in Norse philosophy, ice represents the feminine principle, the stillness and preparation for a new life. Hope and rebirth. Kenzaz and Isa are the yin and yang, where the first is fire and aggression, and the second is stillness and meditation. And I'll leave it to you to know what phase we're in now. A phase that we're less comfortable with in our structural society, right? We're a little bit more comfortable with aggression and action and moving forward, and we're not as comfortable with stillness, myself included. I am part of this. We are all part of this. Isa is the rune of control. When not kept under control, the ego self, the I, can take paths of superficial desire and self-glorification. Isa urges you to pause, to meditate and gather knowledge before moving forward to bigger actions. The pause is where the magic happens, right? Because as a neighbor of mine from Rhode Island messaged me last night, the water clears when we're still, or the mud clears when we're still. So, Isa actions, socially, a static and calm point where it's good to redirect our course of actions. Those around you may be giving you space because they care for you. Okay? Those around you may be giving you space because they care for you. Let's do the same. Stagnant and neutral period in finances, this is financially. Gather confidence and knowledge to move forward for when the time is ready. And this is the magic. Before this all hit, I had a couple weeks of ebb in my business, and I really struggled mentally, and one day I was like, it just hit me. It wasn't me, it just hit me. It was like, oh my gosh, Alyssa, you have to be good at the ebb to be good at the flow, right? You have to be good at the moments of stillness and calm and stepping back, because they present an opportunity just as much as the flow. They present an opportunity to learn, to go deeper, to center the self, to center the values, to center the focus, and that's an opportunity just as much as the flow, the busyness. So we are in a time of the ebb, so let's use it to our best advantage. Health, limitation of freedom, colds and immobilization, lack of vitality and appetite. Isa brings everything in terms of retreat, isolation, and stillness. And I kid you not, I shuffled these cards, and I pulled this rune. And I shuffled those cards as I said exactly what I said at the beginning of the video. Energy does not lie, and we know that we are all feeling this, okay? Lack of vitality and appetite. Isa brings everything in terms of retreat, isolation, and stillness. So just because you're isolated doesn't mean that you can't learn, doesn't mean that you can't feed yourself, doesn't mean that you can't nourish yourself. In fact, whether you only got stuff to make a soda bread at the store, or potatoes, or rice, or you got, a whole variety of foods, now is the time to nourish ourselves. It's a time of stillness. It's an ebb where we get the opportunity to pour back into ourselves, where we get the opportunity to take a really good look at ways that we can be better, ways that we can improve, ways that, probably have been knocking on our door really subtly, but now in the stillness and in the isolation, we're going to hear them real loud. And so that's our responsibility to dive into those things. Isa warns us to be aware not to get trapped into a routine, a lack of motion and activity. Spring is coming. This rune signifies a time of rest before action. It's a period of rest and meditation. It's necessary to stop and assess the situation and look in all directions before the action is continued. This is a gift. Might not feel like a gift, but it's a gift. The pace forward is slow and steady, but a period of fertility and creative force lies ahead. The pace forward is steady, but a period of fertility and creative force lies ahead. While everything seems static, the fertile seeds below the ice are active. All good things will come in good time, but for now we must wait. And we know what we need to be doing in the times of waiting, right? We know we need to be supporting each other. We know we need to be rigorous about following precautions, about maintaining isolation whenever possible, and about turning our focus to things that really matter. Can you start seeds in this time? Can you start growing food? Can you read the book that you never read? Can you, do self-massage, practice some yoga, connect with loved ones who you're normally too busy to connect with? Can you paint? Can you draw? Can you be outside alone in the forest, just breathing in the fresh air? Isa doesn't have a reverse position. Isa signifies the general neutral nature of ice, putting everything into static mode while allowing the time to rest and gather energy before action is resumed. In general, Isa is a neutral rune when extracted in the reading, which tends to add significance to the rest of the runes it's extracted with. I did not extract any other runes, because to me that sums it all up, and from here we get the choice to support the collective and move through this really trying time as an initiation onto the other side, into the other side, into a time where how we think and how we act is shifted, right? And not only is this our responsibility, but it's our honor. That's that. Not only is this our responsibility, it is our honor. If you care to join me now, just to take a couple deep breaths, to focus in. To remember that in stillness there is possibility, in the ebb there is potential, and when the going gets tough, we are asked to practice all that we've been practicing and all that's been simmering under the surface. I just want to show you the environment that I'm in. Ice. Thank you for taking the time to listen and reflect and connect. Please take the time to nourish, and if you have questions, if you have comments, please leave them below. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This is an honor to be alive right now. I appreciate your time.